Hey everybody, my name is AJ Morris, and today we're going to be reviewing atomic blocks. So let's go ahead and get started. Atomic blocks is one of my newest plugins that we're going to be taking a look at. It's a page building block collection plugin for the new WordPress editor. The best part of Atomic Blocks is that it also has a companion theme that allows you to really kind of have both, the best of both worlds, that pairing of a theme and a collection of blocks. So we're going to go ahead and do this review as though we are using both. So I have already started to install Atomic Blocks. I'm going to go ahead and activate that now. And once it's activated, we get over to this nice little kind of getting started screen. Talks about what available blocks are here. So you can see we've got a post grid, a container block, call to action, lots of other blocks that we'll look into. There's some free resources. So if you want to get the news, a newsletter, receiving any emails about new blocks or plugin releases, theme updates, subscribe here. You can visit the blog for articles and tutorials. And then they also run the Gutenberg news website, so you can check that out here. Finally, just pointing out kind of the information here is this is made by the folks over at Studio Press and WP Engine. Now that's to say that Atomic Blocks was acquired by Studio Press and WP Engine. It was originally developed by a company called Array Themes, and Array Themes was acquired by WP Engine. So just kind of giving you some historicals there. All right, so the next thing that we need to do is get the theme installed, and the theme is available on the repo. So we can go right over here to Appearance and Themes, click on Add New, and then Atomic Theme. Should bring it up. Here it is. It's called Atomic Blocks. We'll install. And I'm going to go ahead and activate. So a little bit different about this review is I'm going to be reviewing the theme first, and then we'll kind of talk about the blocks, just so that if you're following along and you've been watching these other reviews, you kind of get an idea that this is going to be a little bit different because of that connection to a companion theme. So just wanting to put that out here. So the first thing I want to do is I want to go into Customize and see what options I have with the theme. So you can see I've got theme options. I can adjust the content width, and if I drag this around, it does show the content area kind of widening or shrinking. One thing I would like to see in here is like a pixel count, just so that I know about what the size is. That's something I would like to see. Maybe even like a field to put in my own pixel count if I want it to say be 1200 pixels wide. I want to be able to put that in here and not have to guess. So a little bit of feedback there. There's a search icon, so you can see that in the navigation menu right here. We can enable or disable that. And if we disable it, it obviously goes away. We'll go ahead and leave it for now. Font style is either sans serif or serif. So you don't actually get to select, at least from this place, you don't get to select an exact font that you want. So there's something about this I would like to see, and perhaps we'll see this as we continue, the ability to customize the font to a specific serif or a specific sans serif font. I can adjust the font size, the title font size for posts and page titles. That's going to be this piece right here. So if we go large, you can see that. We go small, you can see that. Again, slider's a nice concept, but give me the pixels or EMs or something so I know what that is. There's a footer, so you can see theme by atomic blocks. You could see review of atomic blocks and theme, and we'll just see that change down there. I'm curious if it shows something like this. This is kind of a common theme customizer approach to get the copyright symbol, or even something like current year is also another one, and it doesn't look to do that. You can see it down here at the bottom. It's not there, so this is really probably just text, meaning if you did something like copyright 2020, you're going to want to come back in here every year and just update that copyright number. There might be some like a hook or something to add to this, so you might be able to do that there, but just a thought as you're looking at this theme. All right, so that's our theme options. Site identity, all common stuff for a theme that works with Customizer. You can set your logo, you can set your site title, your tagline. You can choose to display the title and the tagline, so we're going to go ahead and display those. And then you can put an icon, a site icon up here, and you'll see it works for browser tabs, bookmark bars within the WordPress mobile apps, and you want to have it be 512 by 512 pixels. So upload that site icon here. Just going to go right into the image or media uploader and go that way. So pretty standard stuff there. Colors, looks like we can do a background color and an accent color. So I might do more of a blue for my background or accent color. You could select a background image. I'd be curious where that goes, but I don't have an image available right now, so we'll just, that might be something you want to take a look at and play with. Let's see, menus. You can set your menu here or create a new one. This is all standard Customizer content. So primary menu, you could set your menu. Looks like they have a social icon menu as well, so you could set that. And it looks like they've got some widgets in the footer, so column 1, 2, and 3 right here. Looks like all of these are currently in column 1. I assume if I go in and add column 2 and column 3, we will see those come in here. I shouldn't have added an audio. I should have added something like a calendar. So here you go. You can see what your widget areas look like. So that is pretty much all of it. The last one is your homepage settings. Do you want a static page? And if so, which page do you want versus your latest posts? So that is a customizer setting you can use. And I've seen a lot of themes offer this inside of the customizer. And then finally, you have additional CSS. So if you wanted to do, something like body, background, I was looking to see if I could get the footer area, but maybe we do footer, right? So if you wanted all background color to be white, you could do that. So that would give you that. Definitely don't look at using important. I was just using that as a way to not see what the CSS classes are for that. So you can add all sorts of CSS in here. We'll go ahead and click publish, and we'll close out of the customizer. So that's the customizer view of the Atomic Blocks plugin, or sorry, the theme. And if you go to background, you can see it's going to jump back in. You could select your image and go forth. There's the theme editor. That's just, I have it available on this install, so I can go in and do that. But that's pretty much the theme. I'm not seeing anything else in here that you can do. So let's take a look at the Atomic Blocks block plugin. And if we come down here to Atomic Blocks, we'll come back to that Getting Started page. We'll see some plugin help. So if you need some help with, what is Gutenberg or what are blocks, even how to use the Atomic Blocks plugin, you can read through here. But one thing I noticed earlier was a settings, and I'm curious what this is. And it looks like it's merely an API key for MailChimp. So must be they've got a pretty good integration with MailChimp. So if you use MailChimp for your blog or your website, this is going to be a good option for you, because you can just add your MailChimp API key here, and then Atomic Blocks is going to have a block that will connect to MailChimp for you. So we'll try to take a look at that when we look at our blocks. Speaking of blocks, let's go ahead and start building a page. So we'll go to Pages and Add New here. And one thing you'll notice in this video is I am running the Gutenberg plugin, so I get the latest and greatest of Gutenberg. There's a little bit difference between what is released in WordPress and Gutenberg as a plugin, because they are two separate things right now. Development is going crazy fast on Gutenberg, and they're only including a certain or a specific release inside of core of WordPress. However, if you want the latest and greatest, always available Gutenberg, you can install the plugin and you'll get all of the stable releases of Gutenberg and be able to use it that way. So this, I believe, is coming out in WordPress 5.4 as they update Gutenberg to whatever version this is. I think 7, I think is what I would remember reading about. And this is just a little kind of get started. Here's how you talk about making each block your own, getting to know the block library, and learning more about how to use the block editor. So we're good with that. We're gonna be pros here and just start creating a page. So one thing I noticed when I'm looking at this, the block editor here, is we've got a new button called Layouts up here, and I'm going to click on that and see what comes up. Looks like there's a layout selector. So so Atomic Blocks comes with a layout option, and this layout option looks like it adds essentially a section or a row of multiple blocks. So I'm gonna take a look at this hero layout, and you can see I've got a heading. So I'm gonna just leave the future of website creation is here with Genesis and Atomic Blocks. So this is some default text, and there's a button here that I can work on. So the first thing I want to do is I want to change this heading text to be white. We can go down to our colors, do a custom color here. Just go all the way to white. That looks good. We'll leave the Atomic Blocks paragraph text here. These aren't new to us, right? This is a paragraph which comes in core of the block editor, same as the heading. This button, let's see if this button is called the AB button, which stands for Atomic Blocks. So this button is a little bit more, should have some more customization to the block. So let's see what we can do here. Moving over to the block edit piece on the right, you'll see that we can select open in a new window or not. We can go to block size, button size, choose large or even extra large. So that's pretty cool. You don't have to worry about defining the sizes here, which I really like. If I'm going to hand it over to a client, I might, say, hey, in most cases use the medium. If it's a single button, use the large size. Button shape looks like it's rounded square, so it's keeping it square, but putting a little rounded corner on it. This is also a little weird thing, is when I'm moving my mouse, I get this weird movement. I don't know if that's, I'm assuming that's just something in here, but it definitely is kind of nutty to me. But let's continue on. So button shape, I've got square, meaning no rounded corners, and then circular, a lot of rounded corners. So you can kind of see that right there. I can set the button color. Now this button color thing, I need to go and look and see what generates this with these wacky colors. I'd really like Gutenberg or the WordPress block editor to just use colors that I set, maybe in my theme or something. But either case, there's not something available here that I want. I can always go to custom color, or I can clear my option. So I could do a purple really quick. I could do a blue. I could do a light blue. I could do a pink. I could do a kind of a minty green. I could do a bright green. So I've got some options here. My text color, same thing. I've got some options here. So definitely getting the crazy world, but maybe green on black on green is not too bad. So that works out. And that's really all the options I have of this button. Now I'm going to go ahead and create a title. We'll just call this Atomic Blocks Test, and we'll go ahead and click Publish here. And if we view the page, we'll see that shows up, but here is that row. So you can see the image in the background, you can see the text, you can even see the button. And that's a very good looking row that I didn't really do much work to. I want to go and edit this though, and I want to see what options are for the container. So if I click out here to the side, let me collapse this menu as well. You can see that I've got a container out here, and that container has some options. So you can do a top padding, you can do bottom padding, you can do left and right padding, you can do margins, and then you can do inside max container width. So from, say, the width to hour is 850 pixels. If I want to make it go wider, you can do that. You can make it go thinner. So if I wanted to do 800, I can do that. And I will say that this is common to have a slider and a box to enter the number in inside of the WordPress block editor. So I'd love to see the Atomic Blocks theme kind of adopt that in the customizer. It's here, so I'm already learning how to do that. So just keeping up with what I have. The background options, I can select a background or an image. So if I had an image in my media library, I could do that. Since I don't have one, we'll just go with this this image right here. I can set the opacity. So you can see I can make it really dark, or I can make it really light. I could change the color. So maybe I want to do like an orange or a little bit darker. I want to make it, if I wanted to go really all the way orange, right? If I want to let a little bit of that image show through, give it a little bit of opacity, I can give it some more. Or if I go down to 100, you end up seeing just the image. So finding that sweet spot is definitely key. I'm going to leave it as black though. I like that. We'll drop it down to 40. I think it was up to 60 originally. I'll drop it down to 40 though. And that's all for that row. Looks like you can align center or do the full width. So that's a pretty interesting way to do it. Let's look at layouts though and see if we can't build out the rest of this page. So they've got services with 3 columns. They've got media with text, services with 4 columns, list, text, and image, team members, testimonials, and contact info and map. So this, to me, this is all really good because for the most part, these are the sections that I would use to build out a page. But I want to look at layouts because I see there's sections here. We've been looking on that. Let's see what layouts are. And layouts are actually full pages. So I could do a business, kind of business page. I could do a product launch page, a profile or a freelancer, kind of like a resume. So that's pretty cool. And I'm assuming if I click the little icon to favorite them, they will show up here under favorites. I'm not sure why they're not showing, but maybe they will eventually. So let's go ahead and try. I'm going to click this product launch and see what happens. And it doesn't actually replace everything. It leaves my first container here and then just adds it to the bottom. So I'm going to remove that top block. So now I have this. And before I go back into the block editor, which I'm already in, but before I go into clicking on blocks, I'm on the document tab over here on the right, and I want to go to page attributes, and looks like I've got some options under template to do default template, page builder, or full width. These are going to be templates that are designed by Atomic Blocks, the theme. And so I'm assuming page builder means if I'm using something like Beaver Builder or Elementor, I might want to use that. But full width might be something to use in the instance of a page where I'm using this layout, and I want everything to show up right. What I was hoping for, and I'm not seeing in here, is something to hide this page title. You want to have the page title in here because it shows up under pages, but if I wanted to hide it from the front end, it appears that I'm not able to hide that. So I'm going to go ahead and click update. I want to see what this layout looks like here. And all right, so you can see it's not fully full width. So let's go back to edit page. I'm going to look and see if I can change the attribute to full width, update, and now view the page again. Still doesn't give me the full width, so it still is kind of blocked off. I'm going to believe that that's probably the theme itself, or sorry, the blocks itself. Let's see if we can tweak some things here. So we'll edit the page. Get into the container. Looks like it's got a line center, but if I do a full width and update, does that fix it or does it make it worse? Looks like it did go full width there. So the white is okay, but these, anytime you're doing a background and the background's not what your body is set to, you're going to want to do that full width on the container block. So you'll want to do it here, and then you'll probably want to do it here. Something I would love to see with the Atomic Blocks theme is things like, I don't want the footer with the widgets to show. Maybe I only want the copyright section to show. Maybe I don't want, I definitely don't want this page title to show. I'd want to get rid of that white section. But then maybe I also want to get rid of the heading section because I want to, just use, I'm going to build a landing page and I don't want to have to worry about hiding those things. There's some themes out there that do that. Astra Generate Press, for example, allows you to remove some elements on certain pages. That gives you the ability to really create landing pages. If you're familiar with the concept of landing pages, those are specifically pages that maybe you're sending traffic to grab an ebook, watch a video, register for an event, and you don't want to have them get distracted. You want them to complete the action, which is to sign up for the thing that you're offering. And so you want to remove some of those potential diversion tactics, right? And so getting rid of your navigation, getting rid of your footer, getting rid of some different things, areas on a landing page makes sense. I'd love to see that be a possibility here with the Atomic Blocks theme, but that's not, so that's okay. But this is a very good landing page layout, and you can edit the page and really just come in here, click away, and there's a configure your settings section. So it's because I don't have the API key, the form doesn't show here, but you could select your list. You could put a success message. You could enable double opt-in. Looks like there's some general settings like block padding, block margin, margin top and margin bottom, your button options. You've got some color, so your block background, your block text, your button color, your button text. So pretty good stuff there. Let's go ahead and create a new page though. And I just want to take a look at some of the options that Atomic Blocks has. So let's create a test 2, and I'm going to add a block here. So Atomic Blocks shoots way down here at the bottom, and it looks like you can add a container, you can add the layouts, testimonial, drop cap, notice, profile. There's tons of things here. One thing I really wanted to look at was the post and grid page. So it looks like I can add either in a grid view or a list view blog posts. And I can set the content type to be post or page. I can order by, I've got a few options there. I've got some category options. How many numbers of items do I want to show? What do I want to show in here? So maybe I want to get rid of title, or no, I want to leave title but get rid of author, maybe get rid of date, get rid of excerpt, get rid of the continue reading link. Maybe I don't want to display the featured image as well. I could maybe add a section title and just call this recent blog posts. So if I had more blog posts, I'd have links of just the title. That's kind of a fun thing. What other options do I have in here? I'd really love. Didn't mean to click on that. I'd really like to set up some of these, customize the size. I can see I can set H2 to H5, or even an H6. That's not super helpful to me, depending on how it was getting. This is getting into a section tag. So I would want to have an H2. I'd want to have an H3 for posts. So my section title is an H2. Post title heading is going to be an H3, because my post, this whole box, this whole block is going to be wrapped in a section HTML5 tag. And so I'd really like to customize that. It looks like the only way to do that is with custom CSS. I'd have to add a custom CSS class and then write that CSS in my theme. So that's kind of a bummer there. What other blocks do they have that we can focus on for a few minutes? There's a profile box. This is pretty nice. You could add your name, title, your bio, and then upload an image. That's really nice in the reusable block kind of thing. If you wanted to include this on every blog post you write, you could add that reusable block each and every time. There was also a call to action block I was curious about. So it looks like you can set some background options of color or an image. We've got some button options, all the same options that we saw earlier. The font size, title font size you could change. other than that, that is pretty much it. And you could also do full width. Is there a way to? I'm not seeing a way to do like an inline. Everything is call to action, and then the button is right next to it. That's okay. That's a pretty cool option though, as a call to action block. Pretty simple and straightforward, but it does give you what you need to do everything. We'll add one more block here, just as a looking through things. You've got an accordion, you've got a spacer. This is nice if you just need to add some space, or a divider. You can set a divider height. You can kind of set some of the options. You can set the color. This is great if you wanted to do like a heading. Now we'll just add a heading block in. And put that above, maybe center it as well. And then underneath, we might do like a paragraph. We'll center that as well. I might come back in here, and the spacer height, you can see the spacer height here. Doesn't look like you can set any type of margin on these, so this is going to look pretty bad, but I'll show you what it kind of looks like. There's a few things I'd like to see changed about this spacer block. Is I'd like to be able to customize the margin and or padding, some of the elements to tighten up the paragraph and the heading from each other, and just kind of keep that line nice and neat in between. I'd also like to set the width of that line, that separator. I'm not able to do that with the Atomic Blocks. The Atomic Blocks plugin. So there might be some ways to do that. If you, for example, added a column, you could use the Advanced Columns block, for instance. Do 3 like this. Drag this into the middle block. You could get by. I think the biggest thing I would want to see is, could I do a negative margin? So you can see I can move it. It doesn't appear to make a difference. Yeah, it doesn't look like it likes to do negative margin. So that's kind of a bummer. This was my thought, was to add in some columns to shorten up this. It would obviously shorten it up. You can see it here in a preview. Shortens it up, which is kind of what I was going for, but it doesn't tighten up this whole section. So that's kind of a pitfall there in my mind. The last thing I would do, I want to look at is, I want to just take one more look through the Atomic Blocks blocks, and there's a newsletter, there's a pricing. Pricing is kind of nice. You can set how many you want, set the buy now button, set all the product features and the price and all that, and even set some design options to it. So overall, I think it's decent, but I think that there's other alternatives I've seen when it comes to pricing. So let me just wrap up really quick. Overall, I think Atomic Blocks is really good for a number of people that are looking to get started with the new WordPress editor. I think it's an interesting concept. I'm curious to see, knowing that it's been purchased by WP Engine and kind of wrapped under the StudioPress brand. I'm curious if it works or how well it works with some of the StudioPress themes. If you look at StudioPress.com, for example, they've got tons of themes, and so I would be interested in seeing how well Atomic Blocks works with some of these themes. Does it take on some of the same attributes and settings, typography, margin, padding, all the CSS settings that you typically set up in a theme? Would these blocks all kind of follow suit to that? That would be an interesting test and something to look at. So if this interests you, if Atomic Blocks is something that's up your wheelhouse, take a look at it. It's free. But for me, I'm finding some of the options in the blocks themselves to be a little bit too limited to where I can't really get everything I want without having to go and write CSS and develop CSS habits. Right? The goal of the new WordPress block editor, the Gutenberg editor, is to really make writing code not a daily thing. And I can see using Atomic Blocks, I'm going to have to write a lot of code up front to be able to pass this on to a client. So that's it for me this week. I hope you enjoyed this review. Let me know in the comments. Make sure you like or subscribe to YouTube. Also, go check out our blog post over at ithemes.com/blog. And if you are liking these reviews, make sure that you subscribe over to the blog. We'll be sending out an email every time a new one is posted, so you kind of get first crack at viewing the blog post and watching the review. So thanks for watching. Hope you have a great week.